Okay, so we are going to run through call tools, and I'm going to show you just one more time how to properly use it and what to look for. The call platform is obviously calltools.com. You're going to go to calltools.com. This is what the home page will look like. You're going to click login. Okay, I'm actually going to really quickly log out to show you what that will look like. So the home, once you click login, everyone's going to have a different username and password. Usually it's your first name, last name, and a number, or sometimes it's just your first name and last name. We're going to use you, Julio, as an example. That's going to be your username. If you want to write it down.
Capital N1. Yeah.
And I'll text all this. I'll text it all to you here in just a minute. I'm just going to show you how to use it. I'm going to log in as you. You're going to click sign in. Okay. It's signing in. And this is what your homepage will look like, right? Allow app calltools.com to use your microphone. Click allow. Okay. So things to take to remember when using call tools, okay? Number one is these 4 green dots at the top of the screen. 1, 2, 3, 4. In order for call tools to actually, for you to be able to receive live calls, they all must be on green. Okay, so as you can tell right now, we're not in a campaign and we're not available.
Right.
Okay, so very quickly, to join a campaign, let me see here, 1 second. Let's see if I can. Really quickly, to join a campaign, we're going to just click join campaign. So as you can see, the amount of leads, right? You're never going to call anything with 2 leads or 6 leads or 5 leads or 3 leads. Those campaigns are completely done. You're obviously going to want to call. They have to have, it should be a big number like this, right? So there's 48,569 leads available that can be called. So obviously, if you click join a campaign, you're not going to get any calls because there's 2 leads. It's done. Okay.
Right.
So you click join campaign, right? So once I click join campaign, you'll see that this turned green. So we have 1, 2, 3 greens, right? And this obviously went to available. Right now I'm going to go to not available, so I don't receive any calls, right? But when we're in a campaign, we're just simply not available, so we're not going to be receiving any calls. If I want to start to receive calls, I'm going to click available, okay? There's obviously not available, at lunch, on break. I'm going to take a couple calls. One thing that I want you to remember is this dial pad, okay? Once in a while, if, for example, you ask someone, hey, you call them and you say, hey, is there a better, and they say, hey, we'll call my son about the property. And you say, oh, what's your son's best phone contact number? And they say it's 555-555-555. What you're going to want to do immediately after that call is you're going to want to input that number manually and press call, okay? And what that looks like is, for example, if I call about a property and I say, hey, John, I was calling about the property on 2nd Street, and John says, hey, man, that's my son's property, or my son managed it for me, or my daughter, or my dad, or my mom. And I say, okay, and they say, hey, call them, they'll know more about the property. And they give me their number. Well, what I do is, I say, okay, and what was your name, by the way? And they say, oh, my name's Sam, call my daughter, her name's Emily. Well, I say, okay, and they give me Emily's number. I'm going to put Emily's number in here and dial it. And when I call Emily, I'm saying, hey, hello, is this Emily? And she, yeah, this is Emily. Hey, Emily, I just spoke with your dad or your cousin or your mom, Sam. They gave me your number. I was calling about the property out on 2nd Street. Would you ever consider selling that one? Right? That's the script when it comes to calling people manually. You want to try and get a name from the person who gave you that particular number, because they're going to associate trust. They're going to know who Sam is, and that's going to explain how you got their number. It's going to open up a conversation. So, hey,
we want to write down the address as well, right?
Exactly. You will want to write down the address as well. Absolutely. And you want to call them right away, because you're on that. You have the address in front of you. You just talked to somebody else, and so you want to make sure that you call them right away. Okay. So, let me see here. I'm going to take a couple calls and show you how to disposition some of these things. So as you can see, I'm going to click. A second here. I'm going to click available. Right?
Yes.
And now I'm available. So now I'm live. As you can see. Hello? Hello? So I may or may not be able to actually take calls because I'm not hooked up to a headset, Usually you're going to be hooked up to a headset, so they may not even be able to hear me because I'm just on the computer. But just for training purposes, I'll try and take a couple calls. Select a disposition. We have not interested. We have no answer. Wrong number. Do not call. Not in service. Lead. Don't worry about buyer lead right now. And then family member, non-decision maker. Okay. So for that one, I'm gonna put no answer on that one. Now I'm press save and resume. Okay. And I always check my greens. Green, 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 and green. Okay. If those are not all green, you're not receiving any calls. So let me see if I can take another call. I may or may not be able to take it, but let me see if I'm able to actually take it.
Okay.
Hello? 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 So I'm just gonna press end call here. As you can see, there's mute, hold. Don't worry about transfer. I'm gonna go end call. Okay. And I'm gonna go to. I don't think they're able to hear me, but this is what it looks like. If you can see, obviously, you kind of see through. You can see the first name. Actually, I'm gonna take one more just for training purposes. Give me a second. I'm gonna put no answer. So here it is right here. Okay. First name, last name, phone number, address, and city. Okay.
Right.
So if this popped up on my screen, hi, it's Jose there. Hey, Jose. This is Nick. I was actually reaching out to you about the property here on San Carlos Street here in San Bernardino. Does that ring a bell? Oh, yeah. And then we're going to go so on and so forth. Okay?
Right. Okay.
Right? It's always going to pop up like this. If it ever pops up and for example, the name doesn't pop up, because once in a while, there will be, every so often, I'm not very often, maybe once every 500 calls or once every 300 calls, there will be no name. Okay? Do not panic. Okay? If they pick up, say, hey, good afternoon. Hi, I was calling about the property out on San Carlos Street. Does that ring a bell? Okay, if in fact there's ever no name.
Right, and then towards the end of the call, ask for the name, not in the beginning.
But there should always, about 99% of the time, there will always be a name. But if in fact there's never, if in fact somehow, somewhere there's no name, you just say, hey, they say, hello, hey, I was calling about the property out on San Carlos Street here in San Bernardino. Hi, my name is Nick. I wanted to see if you'd ever consider selling that one. They may be a little bit alarmed because you didn't call them by their name, but we're gonna go with the flow. Just do not panic. If that makes sense. Do not panic. If that makes sense. Okay.
Yes.
And another thing that we're gonna start to do is, if you have, let me see here. When it comes to taking notes and things of that nature, you also can print out your what we like to call lead sheet. It can also help you in keeping track and making sure that you're asking, the right questions. Let me see if I can pull it up 1 second here. If it was in your initial pamphlet, I don't think I'm gonna be able to pull it up right now.
Yeah, the Podio sheet.
Yeah, so there's a document called lead sheet. Okay?
Yes, seller lead input. It's got seller's name, who generated the lead, property address, outbound call lead, occupancy, details, mortgage amount, asking price, best callback time, miscellaneous notes, submit lead.
Yes. So you can also have that. You can also have that in front of you to help keep you upbeat.
Yeah, I have 2 screens, so I'll use one for the dialer and I'll use the other one for the Podio sheet.
Exactly. So that's pretty much, that kind of sums up how you use call tools. It's very, 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 very simple. One thing to add is if for some reason there is an extreme amount of time in between calls, if it ever goes over a minute, for 15 minutes consecutively in between calls, please shoot myself or shoot Dejana a text message, so we can go ahead and let our IT department know, so they can, number one, try and speed up the list, or number two, we can figure out why, if there's a minute or a minute and a half in between calls. Usually you should receive a call every 25 to 45 seconds. Sometimes you will receive a call every so often. There'll be a gap, but if there's ever a gap for a long period of time, just shoot myself or one of the managers here a text, and so we can go ahead and get that to our IT department.
Can I get their number?
Yes, I'll be able to give you their number here in just a second.
Oh, okay. All right, perfect.
Yeah. Then actually, let me give you the number right now. Let me know when you're ready.
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay. So one of our sales managers here is 951 591 9924. and I'm glad we brought this up. If you ever get a hot lead, a hot, extra hot lead, okay, then you're gonna want to shoot her. She's the first point of contact as well. If there's ever something
okay,
that's
and
very,
her
very
name
hot,
is
Dejana.
Dejana. Okay.
So you're gonna shoot Dejana. If you just input a hot lead into Podio, then you're going to you want to go ahead and contact her right away.
Okay.
The last thing I want to go over, actually, I'm glad I brought this up, is, give me a second here. I want to show you the Podio link. Julio, do you already have the Podio link?
Yeah, I have the Podio link.
Okay, so I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna put up the Podio link. Okay. I want to bring it up really quickly. So this is the Podio link, and if you don't have the link to this already, make sure you save it to some type of screen.
Yeah, I already got it. I'm set.
This is what the Podio link looks like. You're gonna go to Podio. We're gonna send
Right.
you.
I was looking for my name, but I couldn't find my name.
Well, we'll add you in there. Your name will be added in there. But we'll send you out a link, right? And so every time you do get a lead, you're gonna make sure you put in seller name, who generated the lead. As you can see, your name will be here, right? So so let's just pretend if I'm Lori and I generated the lead, I put the seller name. So if I were to put Mike Samuel or Mike Dunn, seller name, who generated the lead, let's say Rachel did, seller, so you put the seller phone number in there, right? Whatever their seller phone number,
right?
Seller email. Sometimes you don't necessarily have to, if you do ask for the email, put it in there, it's not necessarily required. Property address, make sure that we get the property address correct, by the way.
Yeah, we want to go ahead and check it on Google or Zillow.
Yes. Okay.
Right.
Make sure that the property address is correct. Okay, so outbound call lead. It's always going to be outbound call lead, but make sure that we put that property address in there. It's always going to be correct. Occupancy. Is it vacant? Owner occupied. Tenants occupied. Details. Right. This is going to be very, 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 very important. The more details, the better. Right. With the condition. Anything miscellaneous that comes up. If the seller's sassy, if the seller's a dick, if the seller's has some type of something going on, you want to put as much information as humanly possible, because it's going to give us enough information so we can call them back and make an educated offer. So you want to make sure you put as much information as possible. Maybe vacant, seller is highly motivated. Is very motivated, and seller's very motivated, looking to sell. Property needs a lot of work. Mentioned that he's looking to sell by August 31st, 2018. He mentioned that his sister was living in the property and she moved out. She tore the place up. He mentioned that he needs the money to go to retire. He mentioned that he was kind of being a jerk, and he's a straight shooter. So as much information as humanly possible goes in here. Okay. Mortgage amount, asking price. If they do have a price in mind, they mentioned they want $90,000 for the property, or you can just put 90K or 200K or whatever it is. Best callback time, if you did get a callback time, and then anything else that's miscellaneous. Okay, and then you submit the lead, and we will get it right away. Okay. So if you don't have this, I will make sure everybody gets this specific link. But besides that, we know how to input the lead in Podio, and we also know how to use the call tool system. Any questions?
Okay, I have a question.
Yep.
Let's say that I'm on the call. The call's kind of quick. Do I have time to copy paste the information onto the Podio link, or because I don't want this decision unless I already have the information, because then it's going to go away.
Sometimes.
So I'm going to go ahead and.
So I'll show you that. Sometimes you're going to want to write it down, because you may not have time to copy and paste it. Sometimes you're going to be doing this. You're going to be, taking a call, and then you're going to copy. You say you're on a call, and you say, okay, Mr. Seller, yeah. And they're saying, yeah, I own the property for this amount of time. And then what you're going to want to do is you're just going to want to go, while you're talking to them, you're going to have another screen up, and then you're just going to go copy and paste. right?
Right. Yeah, I can pretty much always multitask, and I can check the property value on Zillow. I can look it up on Google.
Exactly.
I can go ahead and copy paste it into the sheet, into the seller's lead input. I mean, I can pretty much do that. But I'm just saying, like, some of those fast calls where people just want to get off the call.
So I'll show
I
you.
don't want this decision until I get the information, right?
I'll show you how to do that. I'll show you how to do it right now. But just for the sake of, since we had this up already, if it's ever somebody you're having a pretty lengthy conversation, or that sounds like a lead and they're kind of talking and it sounds like a lead, smells like a lead, and you just want to make sure it's a lead, and because you're getting ready to ask them a price, it's always good to just pull it up, right? If I were to copy and paste that into, we have Zillow here, we have, this one, for example, is not going to be a lead because I believe it's listed. Let's see if it's listed on the open market. Oh, it's not listed, right? But it just sold, right? Last sold price $200,000. So you can kind of see it. They said, hey, I want. If this says 366 and they say, yeah, I want 300. Well, we're kind of close, If this is 366 and they say, yeah, I want 200, then we're nowhere extremely close. And you can obviously take a look at the property and kind of see, what's going on. That's probably why it sold for $200,000 because this thing obviously needs work.
Right. Yeah.
What did Zillow say? Zillow said almost 400, and if they said something like 200, then obviously we're in the same game. But if this says 397 and they say 400 and they're not taking a penny less, it's not going to be a lead.
No, it's not going to be a lead.
But to answer your question, to get back to your question, so keep in mind, copying and pasting these into Google. We have Zillow, we have Redfin, we have Realtor.com, Spookio, we have Movado. I mean, this isn't the same property, but we have Movado. All of them will pop up. But to answer your question, you're normally going to write them on a piece of paper. I would recommend writing them on a piece of paper. But if you ever disposition the call and you forget something, like for example, if I put no answers, you're going to have an opportunity toward the end to do it. But let's see what happens on this one, just to answer your question. So you see how the dispo, it goes away. And I'll show you. I'll show you right now. Let's wait till a call comes in, and then I'll.
You want to go to history?
Let me see here. Hello. So she probably can't hear me. So this is what I was talking about. Okay, you can kind of see the information. See it?
Yeah, it's faded out, but yeah, it's there.
So if you ever forget something, you can always just go this way instead of trying to look through the history. You can always.
What about under availability on the call? You have a tab there that says dial pad, history, and calls. What if we went to history? Can we view
Absolutely. So there you go.
Okay.
This was it just a second ago,
right.
12 minutes ago, a few seconds ago. So this one says 12 minutes ago, view contact, and then you're able to bring it up.
Perfect.
Right?
Okay, there it is.
So if you ever need that information and you forgot something, you can go here, either call it back or contact. Absolutely.
Perfect. All right. Easy enough.
Okay. So that's pretty much about it. We know how to use Podio. We know how to use call tools. Biggest thing to remember here is those green buttons. That's the biggest thing. Remember, green. They gotta be green all around. They gotta be green. I mean, I'm gonna go unavailable because I don't want to take any calls because they can't hear me. But we want to make sure that we're green, and we're always in a campaign that actually has leads in it. You know what I'm saying? Like these campaigns gotta have leads in it. As you can tell, this one has 48,940. This one has 5,000. Don't ever get in any ones that are like this because you're gonna be dialing for no reason. You won't get any calls. Okay. Julio, I'm gonna give you a call right now to give you all your login information. We'll go from there. We'll get you on.
Perfect. All right, great.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, talk to you soon.